Hey everyone, I'm your host Jared Samuels, and welcome to the 22nd episode of What's Behind the Game, where you'll get an exclusive look at all your favorite athletes eat, train, and anything else you'd like to know. Today on the show, we have Logan Morris, an All ACC and USA Junior National Team runner for Clemson University. So let's welcome Logan.
Hi.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, of course.
So my first question is, growing up, did you play all kinds of different sports, or did you just focus on running?
I was actually a competitive dancer at first, so
Oh,
I
really?
I clogged competitively. That was kind of what I started doing until about fifth grade, and then I was able to start playing soccer. I cheered a little bit, and then finally landed on running, where I did cross country and track.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And so when was that? Was it like high school?
So I started soccer in middle school. So, well, I guess like fifth to eighth grade or so. And then I also run during that time. So middle school and then into high school is where I started to just focus on track.
Okay, cool. No, I just read a book recently that talked about like the importance of doing different things. Like a lot of people just stick to one thing, and then from when they're like six, you see
Yeah,
that a lot in
I've heard that too.
baseball. And
I think it's really good to do a variety of sports and like use your different muscles. And you can learn so much from different sports like soccer that you can use in running later on. So I think that's definitely important.
Mhm. What did you enjoy most about running at that time, and is it the same thing now, moving forward?
Right. So I would say when I was younger, it was more about the team and just having fun and hanging out. Where now it's more about like individually being competitive. I still enjoy the team aspect, but it's kind of more for myself instead of just for other people. Um, then it was, I still had the same passion, and it definitely has grown throughout the years. And now it's more intense, and I'm a little bit more focused on like myself rather than just the team aspect.
Mhm. What is it about like long distance running in general versus like say sprinting or something like that?
What was that about long distance?
Yeah, what is it about long distance running that appeals to you versus like
Okay.
sprinting or what
Well,
other
I'm not
track? Or
super fast in the short distance, so I'm just better at the long distance. But I think there's a piece that comes with being able to run for just miles and just like finishing a run and being like, wow, I just ran this pace at for like an hour. It's just crazy to like realize that my body can do that. But also when I just get in that rhythm, I can just kind of shut off my process of like trying to run and just think and like let my mind free. So it's kind of just a monotonous thing that kind of gives me a little bit of energy, and I don't know, it's just peaceful to go out for a run and just see nature.
Mhm. When you decided to focus on running, what did your training look like? Like, was it just all with a team and a coach, or did you start running a lot on your own, or what did that look like?
Right. So at first I was just with my high school coach when I was in middle school and high school. We did pretty much the same thing every year. I just ran a little bit more miles and then a little bit faster each year. And then when I got to 10th grade, I think, or 11th, I started to see another coach who just helped write workouts. So I didn't train with him. He just kind of told me what to do. And so that's when my training shifted a little bit to just a different style. That was for 2 years. And then when I got to college, it's kind of the same thing, but just more intense. And I would say our workouts now are harder and longer. And I'm running more miles. Where in high school it was like probably shorter, but um, more focused on like really fast but short distance.
Mhm. You had an incredibly successful high school career. When I was looking on the Clemson website, it was like three-time South Carolina Runner of the Year,
Right.
24 state championships. Is that right?
Yes, I don't know
Uh,
the exact number, but it's something like that.
yeah, that seemed like a lot. And two-time Foot Locker national finalist. What do you contribute most to all your high school success?
My
Like the
coach and
coaching, or
Right. My coaching and my parents were big on just easing into it and like gradually getting better each year. So I didn't jump up in mileage from one year to the next. It was just slowly a progression. And I think from the beginning, I had these big goals, but it took constantly doing the same thing over and over and just slowly getting better to get to those goals. But I think they just really had me encourage me to shoot for those big goals and be excited about doing something like that, and not just being okay with just being an average runner.
Mhm. Do you think that like slow progression helped? Because a lot of kids in high school they just like burn out. Do you think
Hmm.
moving that slow progression kind of helped you
Well,
in
I
terms of just
started
like jumping to the most?
right. So I started running in sixth grade. So that was a long time ago. And to think like I've been running, I don't know, like 10 years is crazy. But being able to slowly progress has helped me not really like burn out or just feel like I was doing too much too soon. I was just thinking about earlier how little I was running in high school, but I was still able to like accomplish a lot. And I don't think that you have to run a lot to be successful. I think if you just put in quality miles and quality work, that is important. So if I'm running like 55 miles in high school and then I'm trying to get better, you have to keep increasing mileage. So the longer it takes for you to increase mileage, I think you have more success later on.
Mhm. Um, so yeah, I think you just touched on it. How much were you running in high school at the time? Kind of
Right.
just touched on that.
Yeah, I think I was running like 30 or 35 miles, which thinking back now is not that much compared to like college running.
Hmm. So yeah, moving into college, why did you pick Clemson, and what other schools were in play at the time for you?
Right. So I'm from Spartanburg, South Carolina. So I'm kind of local to Clemson. But at the time, I was really like trying to get out of state and kind of get far away. But not too far. So I kind of like put an 8 hour radius on how far I wanted to go and kind of looked at schools that way. And early on, I was really open to a lot of different schools. So the list was really long. And I took some unofficial visits to schools to just kind of see what the campus is like and get that first meeting with the coach and kind of meet some of the team. And that helped me narrow down a little bit. I think I'm not big of a city girl, so that cut out some schools. And I kind of found out that I really wanted to be closer to home than I had thought. And so also, I'm an engineering major. So that also cut out some schools that didn't have my degree. And when it
Mhm.
came down to it, I think I went on three official visits. And those were like my top three. And then from there, I narrowed out one and I was left with two. And that was just a really tough decision. But when it came down to it, I looked at the team, the coaching, the atmosphere, and then academics.
Mhm. Um, I'm just curious about this at Clemson because I know at like UT football is king, and
Right,
at Clemson with all their success, football's king there too. Kind of.
right.
How is that popularity like, especially recently in football? How has that helped the other sports? You think
Clemson football
at
is
the university?
definitely king at Clemson. Everyone loves their football. I know just being in the South and just that Clemson is a college town, so it's just crazy on game day. But I think their success has helped Clemson fans be more involved in Clemson sports in general. It just kind of given people put Clemson on a map. It's not just the South or the states close by or schools close by that know Clemson. Now it's kind of a nationwide thing. So if we go to another race, we're not just who's that school with the paw on their chest. They know that it's Clemson.
Mhm. Mhm. So what was the transition from high school to college like for you? Like, was it really difficult, or what was the biggest things you had to work on? A lot of people have talked about just having to manage your time a lot better.
Hmm.
What about for you?
Right. So as I was choosing a school, I kind of found out that I don't like change too much. So I think that's what helped me with Clemson is I'd been to the campus a lot growing up. I knew some girls in the team already, and so that helped with the transition. As I wasn't just thrown into a pool of all things new, but it was
Hmm.
completely different. Being off on my own now, I've got to do simple things like laundry all the time and go get groceries if I want food or go make time for everything. Food's not just put on a plate in front of you. So those were just small
Hmm.
things, but then the training and sport, I mean, the training and academics, you really had to focus on having a strict schedule. So I would go to class and then I'd go to tutoring, go to practice and go back to tutoring. Just having that strict schedule really helped me transition well. So I knew exactly where I needed to be and make sure I was getting everything done throughout the day.
Hmm. How long did it take you to adjust that like real strict regimented
I
schedule?
actually went to Clemson in the summer. I think it was around July for the second summer session, and got to kind of get figure out campus and just kind of what college is like before all of the students came on. It was just a couple like most of the freshman athletes that comes in, and then there was some other students there, but it definitely wasn't the same as in the fall. And that really helped me transition. Just having that in the summer where all I had to do was go to 2 classes, and then we had weightlifting and practice was kind of on our own. So having that in the summer where I'm not overwhelmed with the amount of people that are there and just everything that's getting thrown at you really helped when it came time in the fall to get going.
So what is a typical, like, I said what typical day would look like for you, but really from like a training perspective, so like when you get to practice or like
Right.
maybe before practice, like rehab, like what does that look like?
Okay. Yeah. So for my sport, nutrition is a big deal because what you eat for lunch, if it's not something light, you might see it or feel it later on your run.
Yeah.
So it starts at lunchtime, really. So just choosing something that's will help you feel good for your run, feeling energized and ready to go. And then before practice, sometimes we'll go to the training room and stretch out, loosen up, heat, get in the hot tub or something just to get your muscles warm. And then get to practice. Depending on the day, we'll either go for a run or go for a warm up. And the warm up would be for workout days. Runs would just be typical mileage days. And so we'll go do that. Let's say like it's a mileage day. Go out for about an hour or so, run around campus. We go out in groups. Typically, the team will run the first mile together, and then you split and go wherever you want. If you want to run with people, you don't have to all stay together. And then we get back from our run and we do drills and strides and core and hurdle drills, all these different things that helps in running. And then typically our coach will have a meeting of some sort, and then we'll head back to the training room to get whatever we need post run for food, nutrition, or just stretching or anything that the athletic trainers can help us with.
Mm-hmm. So y'all run around campus, so there's like a trail or anything? You just
sometimes
like
we
pick
go
your own route?
Right. Sometimes we go off campus and we have trails, but our campus is not like in a city or anything. It's kind of just a small town, so we can go out on sidewalks. There are trails around campus. There's actually a lake on campus, so we can run around that. And it's pretty convenient just to have it right there where everything like is located, and we have it all right in one section.
Mm-hmm. What do you like? You talk about eating something light. Like I remember when I did a little cross country in high school, and it was just like eat a banana, but that's it.
Right.
Like don't overdo it. Like so, what do you do pre-race, or even like is it different for like a race day or like a practice day? Like,
Yes.
you talk a little bit about that.
So for practice, I'm not really nervous unless it's a workout sometimes, but for races, the nerves will have an effect on what you eat. So for practice, I can actually probably eat more than most people, but I typically stick to like a sandwich and then some sort of fruit or like a piece of bread and peanut butter and banana or something like that, avocado toast. But for race day, it's a little bit more specific because I can't always keep it down. So oatmeal is a good go-to, or fruit, like a banana, or just I like something cold. On race day, bread. I don't like the texture. Sometimes oatmeal, I don't like the texture. So it really just comes down whatever I can keep down. Applesauce is a big thing for me. That works well.
Mm-hmm. What do you do outside of like specifically running? Like talking about core drills and stuff like that. What do you do and hurdles? What do you do outside of running specifically that you think helps you
right
on race day?
So since coming to college, that's kind of where we focus on the extra stuff. Where in high school, it was definitely just go for the run and that's all you do. So that can make a big difference. And what I've seen help is just working on form. So that would be like doing strides after a run. We have these little baby hurdles that help you like pick up your knees and just run more efficiently. We do core. We go to the weight room. That's really helpful and not something I really focused on in high school. Doing hurdle drills, just really loosening up all those muscles that you use, and monotonously on a run, you need to stretch them and go a different direction than just forward. We actually do drills, strides backwards, and that's interesting. So just work those muscles that you're not using when you go for a run forward, obviously. And then we also cross train one day at least during the week. which would be swimming, biking, or ellipticaling, just kind of getting off your feet, but still getting that cardio and getting your heart rate up.
Mm-hmm. What about, I don't know if you've had any injuries, but like if you're rehabbing from something, how would you approach that differently than like a regular day?
Right. So I've been blessed to not have too many injuries. I've had a couple things pop up, but nothing too serious. But Clemson does a great job, and I'm sure most D1 schools have athletic trainers who will give you like some regimen to do, rehab or prehab is what we call it sometimes, to prevent whatever could pop up. And that typically involves just going to the training room before or after practice and going through these exercises. And then sometimes you can do them at home too, depending on what they entail. But yeah, there's so much that you can do on top of running to help, and that adds to that time of practice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I was in high school, we had our coach actually, he survived a genocide.
Wow.
And so like when I pulled my hamstring, I was like, I don't think I can run. He's like, what do I do? He's like, just go run another 2 miles. Like it didn't.
You'll be fine.
Like it didn't phase him. Yeah, because like he's been through so much worse. So like,
Right.
okay. You talked about nutrition, like pre-race nutrition. What about even post-race or sleep?
Right.
What role does that play for you?
Post-race nutrition is not good, actually. I like to get a hamburger, cheeseburger, and like a milkshake or something. But honestly, that's more of just rewarding myself after a hard effort for a race, at least. But like for workouts, definitely the nutrition's important afterwards, getting some protein, carbs, just kind of refueling your body from what you've just given on the track. And sleep is a huge deal. We like to say 2 nights before a race is the most important night, because the night before, who knows if you're going to sleep well or not, just with nerves and a lot going on. But having that sleep makes a big difference in just your energy level and just your focus during workouts. I know freshman year, that's something I definitely struggled with, was getting that sleep, just because time management, you don't necessarily spend your time right. So sleep is what suffered. I didn't sleep as well. And you feel that later on. You're just groggy. About our practices in the afternoon, like 3:00. So I think that's right when you start to get tired if you're not sleeping well at night. And so I think that kind of affected the run. So I would say sleep's a big deal, and then definitely nutrition.
Is that in South Carolina, like the afternoon heat, like is that a big factor?
Yes, I haven't always exactly figured out why we run in the afternoon, but it definitely does help getting adjusted. I think early August and then late May and June, it's tough running in the afternoon, and you just want to be like, why can't we just run in the morning? But when it comes to races, like this past weekend, they had NCAAs, and the races were in like 90-degree weather. I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
So you have to be prepared for that. And I think when you run in the morning, maybe you'll have a better run, but you won't be able to adjust so well when you have to race in those conditions. So yeah, we go in the heat of the day, and it's humid. But you get adjusted to it the more you do it, and it definitely helps later on when we have these hot races.
So you made all ACC, and you also made the all ACC academic team. So how are you able to balance? Engineering is really difficult. So how are you able to balance like the academics and the athletic part, and balance those two factors?
I think my success in life has just been associated with my determination to just do great at whatever I do. And so that kind of translates into academics or athletics. I just want to give it my best and just be great at it. So that kind of is just my mindset. So if I'm going to go be good at running, also I'm going to put the time in after practice to study and just focus. But it's hard finding that balance of, okay, I went to practice, I need to study, but also need to sleep so that I'm ready to go to practice again tomorrow. So sometimes give or take. I think in high school, I was really focused on giving it all on both, and sleep suffered. Where now I'm kind of like, okay, well, I'm going to do enough to get an A, but maybe not get 100, so that I'm also being good in athletics too.
Just finding like what's enough
for
you, not trying to be perfect at everything. Yeah.
Try to spread my energy as best I can. It's kind of like diffusing your energy is the best way to put it.
So you competed for the USA junior national team. What is it like competing on a national stage? Like, do you feel more pressure on like either on a big stage or a big race day, and how would you handle that pressure?
Yes, the bigger races are definitely a lot more pressure, and I get a lot more nervous for rather than like early season races or just small school races. But I think those are where you have the biggest opportunity to just show out. And you can also PR when you have, or get your personal record when you have that competition and that level of people. So it's kind of an exciting opportunity because you're going to be pushed that day, but you also have to be like, okay, well, there's a lot of people here. There's a lot of people better than me. But I think realizing that opportunity is there and stepping up to that challenge really helps me excel at that. In this race particular, when I made the team, I knew what the opportunity was in front of me, and so I was like, I just have to go get it, go after it, and that's what I did, luckily. But I think if you look at the positive and what's there and not think of, oh, what could happen if this went wrong, but see like what can happen if this goes right, that helps me focus and not get too nervous.
So just like visualize the positive outcome.
Right.
Just like expect it.
I'm not too great at it, but I'm getting better each year. Just kind of saying like, if this goes right, then this will happen. Not saying like, oh, if I had a bad day, if I tried this and I failed, what would happen? Just see the positive.
Well, there's a question we ask everyone at the end, and it's, what are your top 3 recommendations for young athletes?
Okay. Let's see. I would say make sure you're having fun. And like that you're passionate about what you're doing. So it might not be running for you. It might be a different sport. It could be music. It could be art. There's tons of opportunities, but just find something that you're passionate about. It's not always going to be easy, but that doesn't mean that it's not something you're good at or something that you won't excel in. So if you're passionate about it, it will be fun at some point. Maybe not every day, but it will give you joy. And also do it for other people. Don't just do it for yourself. I think when you're competing or working for a greater cause, definitely it just gives you more purpose and passion. For me, I believe that the running's a gift for me, and that's been given from God. So when I go and run, it gives glory to Him and it touches other people because not everyone has the opportunity to go run. So definitely do it for someone else or something else, so that when it goes tough or you're kind of in a rut, hey, I'm doing it for them.
Awesome. Is there anything else you'd like anyone to know about, or like the audience to know about, or anything you got going on? You want to know about?
Right now I'm training for cross country, getting ready for a big year. So it's just the grind until cross country starts in August or September.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for this opportunity.